Yeah, it was pretty solid on both sides. Definitely steps in the right direction from the Spartan Invite. So I really think, to start with the men, they executed the race plan appropriately. We did get it handed to us by Augustana, the team that ended up winning that race. But at the same time, the bigger thing that I saw out of our men was they weren't afraid to give themselves a shot, which we've never been in a position like that before. So we wanted to win. We did get humbled a little bit, but I think that only keeps us motivated as we start to train and look forward to the championship season races with them. On the women's side, huge progress as a full group. I thought they executed the race plan very, very well. There's still some things we got to patch up, I think, especially in the middle parts of the races, but it was just almost like night and day difference from the Spartan Invite. And when we compared the results from this year to the results from last year with how strong the women's team was a year ago, it's almost identical. So really, I think the big thing is that our expectations have changed so much that it just feels different for the women now. So that's a great sign to see. And then when we took a step back and saw how similar we were to a year ago, I think it kind of re-motivated us to know, like, hey, we're not that far off from where we want to be. So still a lot of stuff to work on both sides, but we're in a much better spot, following this race than we were the previous one. You're not going to race well with a poor mentality, and you're probably not going to have a good mentality if you don't race well. So I think as a group, I think it took the group effort of them to be able to hold each other accountable in the small things leading up to the race, whether it's days before or minutes before. And we saw them kind of really come together a little bit. So we still need to do a lot better job of gelling on the women's side, I think, but hopefully this progress and this race result kind of steers us towards that, where we want to be come GLIAC championship time. Yeah, I think it's meshed pretty well. With the redshirters coming back, some of them were still on campus last year, so they were still part of the culture and the idea of this year being a great year for them, so they've been able to help elevate each other. But we still have 10 to 12 guys who could be, in our top 7. Where we're pretty confident with those 5 front runners that we've shown in the first 2 races, but that still leaves 2 spots for a championship season. So when you have 10 guys fighting for 2 spots, it's going to be pretty competitive, but there's no animosity towards one another. They want the best people representing our program there, and I think the younger guys have really used the older guys as references almost. Hey, what did you do to kind of take that next step forward? They just get the opportunity to race together and kind of really work together. So it's been pretty awesome to see kind of the fluidity of integrating these people back in, with some guys just looking at that like, hey, I can learn from this person. On the women's side, Sam Kurkowski has been a nice surprise, and we knew she was talented. We saw that in track, where she was one of the best steeplechasers in the country of all freshmen. So for her to be able to translate that over, and she's been our number 2, a strong number 2 runner for us in our first 2 races. So she's been awesome. I think on the men's side, Bobby Beggs is cracking through. He's trained his butt off for 4 years now, and he's finally starting to see those rewards. So he's been our 6th runner, but he ran an awesome race at the GRIAC meet, where he was running 5 for us for a majority of that race before Brendan kind of caught him at the end. So I think those 2 runners are huge surprises. Chase Shield on the men's side also. He's been a top 7 guy for us in the first 2 races. We knew he was always talented. We just had to keep him healthy and keep him in the right spot mentally, and he's been a nice surprise there too. So I still think we're going to see some more on the women's side. I don't know who it's going to be, because there's a lot of them around the same area, but I think these next race opportunities, we're going to see some people really step up. This race is an awesome race. It's huge. 26 teams on the men's side, 29 on the women's side. So we're bringing our B squad or whatever down, but the expectations for them are the same. We don't want to go down there and just lay an egg on the course. I think that the group that we're showing is more of our developmental kids, but at the same time they've been working really hard, and they've made some big strides in training, and I think we're going to see hopefully some big breakthroughs on both the men and the women's side this Friday. With such a process-focused, goal that we have, and the process focus that we have as coaches, it's how they're approaching the race. We know that it might take another year for some of them to really crack through and figure out how to run 8,000 meters on the men's side or 6,000 meters on the women's side. But most of them are pretty young too. So when you're young, you got to learn and you got to make your mistakes. And it's really races like this and opportunities like this allow us as coaches to, one, build relationships with the younger kids, and two, be able to teach them. Maybe address some glaring mistakes that they made so they can then improve as runners. But at the same time, we don't expect to go there and just, be out there for the heck of it. We want them to get out there and have the right mental mindset and the right approach for putting themselves in the best position to have the best race they can.